What are you to do? What are you to do with this sort of stuff? Hello and welcome back to the Indie Skies YouTube channel, where today the forecast is looking good because we're talking about Alex G. Alex G has been one of my favourite artists from the first moment I heard Soca in 2014, and it's been really fun to follow his career and watch him grow as an artist. He's built one of the great modern indie discographies in my opinion. For the most part, each album feels unique, and he's never stagnant. His sound is always developing in some way. His music also always feels genuine. It never feels like he's compromising his vision to sell more records or anything like that. I also think he's become pretty influential as well. There's a lot of younger artists making indie music that take a lot of cues from his songwriting. Anyway, today we're going to celebrate his discography and have a go at ranking the albums from worst to best. This will be my opinion at the end of the day, so I'm really interested in where you guys might agree and disagree, so please let me know down in the comments. Also, just to clarify, we will only be looking at albums that have been officially released, but if you are an Alex G fan and you haven't checked out his unreleased stuff, I highly recommend doing so. My personal favourite projects are Monsterhead and Nothing, and I also recommend checking out The Skin Cells, which was Alex's band before he went solo, and they have some stuff on Spotify. I'll link both those things down in the description, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, number 10, ironically, we're starting off the list with Winner. This album has good, old school Alex G vibes, some pretty raw, loose, lo-fi songs, which is to its credit in some ways because it feels very authentic, but to its detriment in others, it doesn't feel particularly bold or ambitious. Hitting So Hard is a really great song, and Sometimes is probably my favourite song on here, but lots of the songs are short and forgettable in the overall picture of Alex's discography. You often find yourself waiting for the songs to grow into something more, but instead they just end or keep plodding along. You still do get a sense of Alex's songwriting, the way he plays with characters and vivid imagery, for example on the song Big World, which is one of my favourites here, but overall it's just a bit inconsistent and underdeveloped. And that kind of makes it the least good Alex G album, if that makes sense. Okay, coming in at number 9, we have Rules. Overall, this album is cleaner than Winner and Race, the two albums that came before it. It's a bit more polished, actually one of Alex's most consistent albums in his whole discography. In terms of quality though, there's a few underwhelming, forgettable tracks, and I feel Alex doesn't take as many risks as he does on other albums. There is a lot of good teen angst, which maybe I'm a bit disconnected from now that I'm older. And the highs are higher than on Winner. This album has a more unique, distinct sound. Comeback is good, Rules is good, Miss in particular is a top tier Alex G song and such a mature composition considering how old he was when he wrote that. I like Wicked Boy, and the bonus track Sandy is a really good track as well. But I just don't really return to this album that much. I think there's 8 albums that I prefer where Alex showcases his strengths more consistently. Okay, number 8. I'm sorry, but this is House of Sugar. I know this is a bit of a hot take. This album seems to have become a bit of a fan favourite. I see lots of people online saying this is Alex G's classic, and honestly, I just don't quite get it. Don't get me wrong, the highs on this album are incredible. The 3-track run of Hope, Southern Sky and Gretel is probably the strongest in his entire catalogue. And there are some other good songs too. I like Walk Away, I like Bad Man a lot, In My Arms, Cow, and I like how there's some more romantic, intimate moments on this album. But in general, there's just too many misses. I like weird, experimental Alex, but I think a lot of the risks here just didn't land. They just end up taking away from the flow of the album in my opinion. The album starts strong, it ends strong, but the middle section is just a bit disappointing to me. I do like this album, and I do return to it, but I just think in terms of top to bottom experiences, there are 7 albums that are better realised or have more special sauce to them. Okay, number 7, it's The New Boy, Headlights. Obviously, this is the most recent Alex G album, so there's every chance it could go higher or lower on the list, but for right now, this feels right. I don't think the highs touch House of Sugar, but I think it's a more consistent, cohesive album. I actually think it's been a little bit underrated. It starts really strong. June guitar is a beautiful opener that sets the tone for the album well. It's delicate, wistful. Afterlife just has the soul of an old Alex G song with a more developed sound, and it makes me happy that he's still making these songs that feel so youthful and visceral. Beam Me Up is my favourite on the album. I actually think it's one of the great modern Alex G songs. The chorus is just so beautiful, and it also feels a bit old school with the harmonies, a bit DSU coded. I know a lot of people didn't really like Louisiana, but I liked it. I like how buried the vocals are, how fuzzy the song is. I don't really like the end of this album though. I found the last 4 tracks to be pretty underwhelming, and this run holds the album back in my opinion.
I'm gonna put that ball way up in the sky, dark rivers and
Okay, number 6 is Trick. Trick is an interesting one. I don't have TikTok and I've never used it, so I was only vaguely aware of this album blowing up, and I didn't realise the extent to which it had. 5 out of Alex's top 10 most streamed songs on Spotify from this album, and Sarah and Mary alone have over 330 million streams each, which is absolutely crazy. Alex was a Bandcamp darling for so long, with a dedicated fan base, but I still would have never expected him to put up numbers like that. Honestly, I'm still a little confused about how it happened, but I love this album nonetheless. There is a lot on this album that falls a bit short. There's songs that feel half-baked, songs that are a bit grating like String, but the good stuff is good. Memory and Forever is such a crazy way to start the album. I love both those songs. The pacing of the album is a bit strange. There's a bunch of short songs in the middle of varying quality, and that section between Advice and Mary, which are both highlights, is actually pretty lackluster. It finishes strong though, and it's the bonus tracks which really push this album from good to great. Adam and 16 Mirrors both feel like special vignettes of this era, and Sarah is one of the absolutely essential Alex G songs. It has everything you need. The storytelling, the characters, it's nostalgic, it's fun. It's one of those songs that only Alex could make, and you still hear people trying to recreate that sound. And he was a teenager when he made it, which is just crazy.
I can't be what you need. I am stuck in a dream.
Okay, number 5 we have Beach Music, which is a special album for me because it was the first album to come out when I was already a fan. And I love a lot of the songs on here. I love Bug, Kicker, Snot. Salt has such an interesting, spacey atmosphere. The haunting imagery in Mud is so special to me, with the refrain of I Know Something You Don't Know, and Bright Boy is one of my favourite Alex G songs of all time. It just has that unique crack built into it with the high-pitched vocals, the repetition. And there's a few songs on here which I'm not wild about, but I don't think they're bad. They just kind of fade into the background of Alex's catalogue. I don't think there's any egregious misses on here. I think the album is paced and sequenced well, which isn't always a guarantee with Alex. The only reason it isn't higher is because I think the albums above it have more great songs.
Bright boy, I can help you if you let me take your hand.
Okay, now it's getting really hard to rank these albums, but number 4 is Rocket. Rocket is far from perfect. I actually think it's more inconsistent and has more misses than Beach Music. So let's get into the things I'm not crazy about first, and then we can talk about what makes this album so special. Horse is messy and abrasive, and not really in a good way. Judge is just a bit toothless, and as is the case with a few Alex records, I think the album peters out in pretty unspectacular fashion. Elena is a cool song, I like it, but it's nothing crazy, and Big Fish and Guilty have never done anything for me. However, there is a reason this album is so high in my ranking. It has some of the songs which are the most special to me in Alex's entire catalogue. Poison Root might be my favourite of Alex's intros. I love the imagery, the repeated refrain of Now I Know Everything is so ominous and cool. I feel the same way about Witch, with the no matter what you do, the witch burns you. And I really appreciate how Alex can make these simple songs feel so vivid and compelling. Brick and Sports Star is an absolutely unhinged 1-2 punch in the tracklist that only Alex could make work. But it's mainly the folk country inspired stuff here that really has my heart. The title track is so underrated, I never really see people talk about it, but it's probably my favourite Alex G instrumental. The plucking mandolins or whatever they are so beautiful. Proud is a sweet, straightforward song with lovely messaging. And then both Bobby and Powerful Man are top 5 Alex G songs of all time for me. The violin on both those songs is amazing, the storytelling, the world building, and when Alex does these things well, it's what sets him apart from other artists and what makes him one of the modern greats. Okay, number 3, we have Race. Race came out in 2010 when Alex was still in high school, and that's insane. When I think back to what I was like in high school, the thoughts I was having, the limited creative output I had, I can't even comprehend making something that feels so unique and special. It's inconsistent, yes, rough around the edges, innocent and childlike in places, but I think that's to its credit. And to be 17 and make an album with such an identity and personality, something that feels unique, is crazy. I love the jangly intro, Remember. The Same is one of my favourite Alex G teen angst songs, and the title track is a great closer. There's a lot of short songs that are a little underdeveloped, but this is the album where Alex pulls this off the best in my opinion. These little vignettes really add to the overall vibe. Noah is incredible, it's a top 10 Alex G song, the second half just hits so hard. And that's one of the best parts of this album. It's quite understated instrumentally, but a lot of these songs build towards really memorable moments. Whether it's Noah, or the high-pitched vocals on Things to Do, the choruses of Let It Go and The Same.
Please don't cry. I am not your brother. I am not your lover. And there is nothing wrong.
Okay, we're really getting into the good stuff now. Number 2 is God Save the Animals. I feel like there might be a few people surprised to see God Save the Animals this high, but in many ways it feels like the album I've been anticipating since I first became a fan. It's mature, it's charming, it feels like a natural development of Alex's style without sacrificing his creativity and experimentation. And for me, this is his most cohesive album, his most consistent. I don't feel like any moment was wasted here, outside of maybe Headroom Piano. I feel like that song could have been left off the track list. But that's a great ratio for someone like Alex, who's never really been concerned with making a seamless product. After All is such a good, moody, atmospheric opener. I love the way the pitched vocals sound with the piano. Runner is obviously a great track. I am a little surprised that it was the song that kind of pushed Alex into the mainstream, but I'm glad that happened. It's been cool to see him get big spots at festivals and play on late night television. Beyond that though, let's just go through some highlights on the album. Mission, amazing. SDOS, an acquired taste, sure, but I like it. No Bitterness is beautiful, I love what it grows into. Ain't It Easy feels like a great old school Alex G track. And Cross the Sea is another top 5 Alex G song for me. It's got such sweet lyrics, I love the vocal processing, it's so vivid and evocative. Blessing is a banger, it's a very cool song. Immunity is another personal favourite, it's weird, I don't really know what he's saying at any point, but it doesn't sound like anything else and I love that. And the last 2 songs, especially Miracles, are both great as well. So for me, this is his most consistent album. I don't think it has the highs of certain other albums, but top to bottom, it's so good, it's so tight, and I think time is going to be really kind to the album.
You can believe in me.
Okay, and here we go. Alex's best album, the gold medal goes to DSU. As I mentioned at the start of this video, this was the first Alex G album I ever heard. And these simple, fuzzy lo-fi songs with their charm and unconventional lyrics, something just clicked in my brain. And it's one of those rare albums, you'll only ever have a few in your life, that really shaped my music taste, basically from the moment I heard it. I discovered it around the same time I left high school and started university, and a lot of these songs are inspired by that period of change in Alex's life. There's no bad songs on here. Every song adds something to the sonic and conceptual character of the album. They're all different ingredients in a big sandwich where all the flavours complement each other and make something better than the sum of its parts. However, there are some songs that are better than others, so let's talk about them. I love the slacker rock of After You're Gone as an opener. It's wonky, it's warm, it's catchy, and it sets the vibe well. Black Hair is another highlight. It starts pretty low key and switches abruptly into this moody, almost emo-inspired song with these creepy vocals on the verse. Sorry is amazing. It's slower, but has this heavy atmosphere, and it's sad, dealing with themes of addiction. Boy is my favourite Alex G teenage anthem. I love the nasally vocal delivery. Soca, which is the deluxe track, is sparse, a little haunting, but something about its simplicity is very poignant. And then we have Harvey. This is not only my favourite Alex G song, but also my first or second favourite song of all time, full stop. I love how Alex G can create these rich little worlds from so little. We're introduced to a couple of compelling characters, but there's a lot that's left for you to interpret in your own way, and that's what I love about Alex's songwriting. And the song just sounds great. The background vocals are so pretty, and I love the way they slowly take over. And yeah, it's an incredible song on an incredible album in an incredible discography from an incredible artist.
I love winning, baby, I want it all. I wanna prove that I got the ball.
Okay, there we go. Alex G's albums ranked from least best to best. Let me know what I got right, what I got wrong. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.